Reason number one, the Titans should consider playing Mason Rudolph in week 6 against the Colts is to buy an extra week to hopefully avoid a re-injury of headstrong Will Levis, who is not going to protect his body because he has not protected his body once really at all. Like even when he's sliding air quotes, he is submarine diving, shoulder first, and runs against the Packers and the Jets. And then obviously he dove and hurt his shoulder going for the first down marker in the first quarter of a game. So that is the number one reason, because when Brian Callahan said Tuesday afternoon, the day after the press conference, he had a line where he said, we have to do everything we can to learn everything about Will Levis. Mm-hmm. And you can't learn everything you can about Will Levis if he goes out there against the Colts, 13 days after the AC joint injury, whatever grade it is, and does something that he's prone to doing, like putting his shoulder into a defender or his shoulder towards a first down marker, or Nicholas Petit-Frere gives up an easy pass rush, and guess what? Right shoulder is right there for the right tackle, throwing shoulder, and you cannot risk Will Levis having this grade 1 or 2 AC joint injury become a grade 3, 4, 5, or 6. So that is reason number one. You do not want Will Levis to get further injured and re-injure this thing to rob him of more evaluations. Because what happened last year, Easton? Will Levis gets an ankle injury towards the end of the game against the Panthers, I believe. The Titans won that game. Maybe it was the Seahawks. One of the games.
Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah, they all kind of
blocked all of that nonsense out.
Regardless, he gets hurt at the end of a game. Then he starts the next time at the Texans and plays like 8 snaps, and then he's out. Mm-hmm. And then guess who started the last game of the season? Ryan Tannehill, because you don't want the guy to get hurt. So you don't want to repeat that same situation. You want Will Levis. I am sacrificing game number 5, week 6 of Will Levis evaluation so I can evaluate game 6 through game 16, weeks 7 through 18 for Will Levis. That is my reason number one. My reason number two is I think the Colts are a very beatable team. Will Levis and the Titans have played games where they should have beaten more of these teams than they have. But we all know the turnovers have crushed them. They've been critical turnovers, fatal turnovers in a couple of these games, right? And given up points. So what you can't do against the Colts is give them points on their scoreboard that Will Levis has done. And he's had turnovers in every game, whether he plays all 50 or whatever snaps or 11 snaps. He's had a turnover in all of these games thus far. The Indianapolis Colts have the second worst run defense in the NFL. They have the 6th or 7th worst pass defense when it comes to yards allowed per game in the NFL.
It is bad.
I believe the Tennessee Titans can get to 2-3, with Will Levis or with Mason Rudolph. But because of my first reason, I don't want to risk Will Levis game 6 through 16. So I'm going to sit Will Levis and let Mason Rudolph get you to a very important 2-3 and 1-0 in the AFC South. Because if you're 1-4 and 0-1 in the South, now you're in deep doo-doo. Because I'm trying to extend the season and also extend Will Levis's evaluation period by not playing him in week 6. Sacrifice the Colts game for Levis alone to extend him and the season.
The couple of reasons that I'm not with you here. So we've made it clear that ultimately we don't know. And I'm assuming you agree with me that the only reason it will, if we flash forward and it is Mason, it is because they're worried about the re-injury. It has nothing to do with anything else, right? Like that would be the only reason they play him.
Let's think about it. What'd they do with Jeff Simmons this past Monday?
Right. They held him out.
Like Jeff probably could have gone. Right. Based on
I stand by the fact that they held him out because the bye existed.
Exactly.
If the bye was not there, I think he's playing the game.
But I think the bye week is give it. Now you're allowing another 50% time to heal. Because you have the bye week to your advantage. I think it's a huge deal. Same thing.
For
Why
Levis is a huge deal. They're utilizing the bye as the
I know,
advantage.
but now it's like, again, it's one game, doesn't matter. Like I give
You
him
just said yourself one game matters. It's the most important game of the year, in your opinion.
no, I'm talking for the Titans season. Beating this Colts team in week 6 at home is a must win if they want to have a season where they're winning more games and trying to compete. But if you're talking about Will Levis's evaluation, one individual game on October 13th doesn't matter.
Okay, so here's where I disagree with you. And this is so we've already set aside the fact that we don't know whether he's healthy or not. And I will ultimately agree with not agree with your whole point, but I'll agree with the decision if they put Mason out there, because I know that means they know, the doctors much better than I, this is still not healed. So that's a separate thing. But under the assumption that report from Rappaport yesterday is correct, that they're like, he's going to be fine. We're not worried about the re-injury. We're going to have him ready to go by week 6. Assuming that is the case, which we won't know for a couple of days. The reason why I think the cautious approach is not the right one is because it robs you in one game of the point of playing Levis the entire year, which is you are trying to live and die by the Levis experience in order to set yourself up for the future. So if you play Mason and you win this game, does it extend your season for 1 week at least? Yes, it does.
Well, now you're 1-0 in the division, and you've got 5 division games at the end.
And obviously, it's a big deal. I'm not discrediting that. But if you win this game and then you go blank against the Bills and the Lions, and then you blow a game to New England after that, if the season falls apart, whether it's because of the team or whether it's because Levis comes back and again, the thing we're trying to find out here just proves he's not the guy, then you've won a game for no reason. And on the flip side, if you lose with Mason Rudolph, which I think people are deluding themselves into thinking isn't possible against a gettable Colts defense. Don't get me wrong, but you can lose with Mason Rudolph to anybody in the NFL. You can lose with Will Levis to anybody in the NFL, and it's a divisional game. No matter how gettable you think your divisional opponent is, there's always a significant tangible threat that they will beat you. So losing that game then with Mason Rudolph robs you of finding out whether or not Will Levis could have won you that game, which is an important data point in the ultimate evaluation. So I get that, like, it was one game, there's 17 games, whether they win or lose it at the end of the year, it's not going to be the biggest deal on the Levis evaluation. It can be the difference between, the 1st overall pick and the 4th overall pick. It can be the difference between the 9th overall pick and the 14th overall pick. It does matter. And if he's healthy, I don't see any reason to be cautious. I don't.
Because I want to see him, because I think I've told you guys, whether it's you, Sam, Zach, whoever I'm talking to, like, they're going to play Levis the entire season unless he's hurt. And I don't want him injured for more than one game. And I think there's an opportunity.
But Austin, you've seen him play. Even when he's 100% healthy, he's still an injury risk in every game he goes out.
I know, which is why when he's 13 days off of a throwing shoulder injury, I'm going to give him 7 more days.